Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you've already enjoyed some of the other wonderful presentations at this year's 3D Experience World. It's been amazing seeing the tremendous effort put forth by the teams to make this event happen this year, and I'm thankful and proud for the opportunity to be part of it. We're going to have some fun looking back at all the great enhancements that have added to SOLIDWORKS this past decade, but before we do that, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Greg Buter. I'm a managing application engineer here at Computer Aided Technology. We're a SOLIDWORKS value-added reseller. I get to wear many hats here. I really enjoy doing instructing training classes, working on consulting projects, and I also have the opportunity to manage a great group of individuals here. I've been working with SOLIDWORKS for 20 years, been working in this reseller channel for 15 years, and it's really given me a great opportunity to watch the software evolve over these years. As we eagerly jump into 2021, I thought it would be a great time to reflect on the past. SOLIDWORKS has come a long way over the years. There's so many enhancements added to each release, it can be difficult to keep track of them and even remember to utilize them in your day-to-day designing. We're going to have fun looking back at the past, the best SOLIDWORKS feature enhancements of the decade, and we'll have some time for questions at the end. We picked these features based on our experiences. There's so many to choose from, we did have to trim some great ones off our list. We'll go through release by release, doing some quick demonstrations of these favorites. As we do this, I have 3 goals for you. I hope everyone learns something new. Maybe it's one of the features you haven't seen before, maybe a sketch tool, or perhaps you pick up on a subtle varying technique you notice as I go through these. I hope you can find something today to share with a colleague or peer. You might see something that you already know, but this presentation maybe reminds you of someone else that could benefit from that material. So please share. And thirdly, reflect on the past. It may feel like it went really fast, but 10 years really is a long time. I hope you see some features or models that make you recall some positive experiences. Maybe you recall an older rollout event or even SOLIDWORKS World. With that, let's get started. Let's go all the way back to 2010. SOLIDWORKS World was in Anaheim, California that year. Kicking off the top SOLIDWORKS feature enhancements of the decade is mouse gestures, multiple bodies and sheet metal parts, and exporting to DXF files. We start off with the debut of mouse gestures. Using anywhere from 2 to 12 gestures, you can hold down your right mouse button and quickly select the feature you wish to use. Being a modal command, this can have different setups for parts, assemblies, drawings, and sketching mode. Here, we're going to use mouse gestures to add a fillet, create a new sketch, sketch a rectangle, apply the necessary dimensions, and perform a feature. In this case, we'll do an extrude. Here we have a machined part that can be better manufactured out of sheet metal. SOLIDWORKS 2010 gave us the ability to do multiple solid bodies with sheet metal components, something that previously would have to be done with assemblies. Recreating this component out of sheet metal certainly requires these multiple pieces. Creating the top plate is easily done in this single part environment. First, base flanges to capture the design intent with these main holes. Now we are up to 5 individual sheet metal bodies. Not only did SOLIDWORKS 2010 give us the ability to have multiple bodies, the edge flange command was enhanced, giving us an easy way to bridge these bodies together by selecting up to edge and merge. We can view the flat pattern of any of these multiple bodies easily. Utilizing this up to edge and merge command one more time, we can connect the two main side plates, making them a single body. After adjusting the bin location option and looking at the flat pattern, SOLIDWORKS 2010 also gives us another one of our favorites, this easy button for exporting a DXF. Just right-click on the face, export to DXF DWG. It doesn't get any easier than that. We identify what type of geometry gets exported, and also have this awesome preview window that gives us the ability to remove any lines that we do not want translated to the DXF. Flipping the calendar forward to 2011, SOLIDWORKS World was in San Antonio, Texas that year. In SOLIDWORKS 2011, some of the gems include the D-Feature tool for assemblies and the brand new Display Manager. Suppliers are always eager to have customers utilize their designs and products. However, customers typically don't need a lot of the internal detail of the design, in addition to which suppliers don't want to give away their intellectual property. We have a lot of options to pick and choose from of how to simplify the model. We can remove components based on their size, just take out all internal components, or specifically select components to remove or retain. One thing that's unique to SOLIDWORKS is the ability to preserve assembly motion. So we can come in and select several components and group them together. In this case, we're grouping the casing elements. We want the input shaft as a separate component, and then the output shaft as a separate component as well. SOLIDWORKS will then go through and, based on our selections in this case, remove the internal components that are enclosed within the geometry, as well as ensure we preserve those features that we've selected. It only takes a few seconds and does a very efficient job of clearing out a lot of the detail that's not necessary. We still preserve a lot of the external detail because that gives visual information about what it looks like, as well as make sure it fits into your design environment. SOLIDWORKS 2011 also introduced the Display Manager. Up above the Feature Manager, we now have a one-stop shop for all things visual. Here we can access scenes, adjust their settings like the lighting. We can see how all the appearance properties of the components and easily change how they're organized. Listing by hierarchy, it becomes clear that some part appearances are being overridden by appearances at the assembly level. With this information, it's easy to remove that appearance definition, returning the part's original appearance. Without the Display Manager, identifying this situation is no easy task. Now we jump to 2012. SOLIDWORKS World moved to San Diego, California that year. The best feature enhancements of SOLIDWORKS 2012 include command search, magnetic lines, and auto balloon functionality. Command search is a powerful new tool that makes it very quick and easy to find any command that could be buried in a pull-down menu or in your command manager. Let's do a quick search for the split feature. We can easily add this Command Manager tab if it doesn't already exist. Or we can choose the spyglass in the right-hand corner, and SOLIDWORKS will go ahead and find that command on the Command Manager and even points it out to us. And we can just click that command to launch it. This is one of our favorites of Favorite List because it is for the new user or a user that has been running SOLIDWORKS for 20 plus years. Now, let's look at the power of magnetic lines. Here we have an assembly drawing, and we'll prepare it for the bill of materials by first placing our exploded isometric view. Placing bill of materials in the upper right corner gets us ready to place the balloons. And we'll do this with the auto balloon command. The auto balloon command gives us some nicely arranged balloons. This linear alignment is due to these balloons being attached to a magnetic line. This line is easy to manipulate, giving us excellent control of balloon placement. Multiple magnetic lines are inserted all at once. Individual balloons can be moved and shuffled along the lines, or even equally spaced. Now that the balloons are placed, the same auto balloon command has another awesome feature. We can resequence these balloons, ordering them sequentially, and even pick which one is the starting item number 1. As you'd expect, the bill of materials table responds and updates accordingly. As we turn the page again, we're now up to 2013, where SOLIDWORKS World was in Orlando, Florida. The best new features from 2013 are a remarkable pair. The Quick Filter button is beautifully simple, and the Intersect feature is amazingly powerful. Quick Filter buttons are found in the Open dialog and can filter SOLIDWORKS part, assembly, and drawing file types. It also will filter for the top-level assembly files that exist in that same directory, making it very easy to open the files that you're looking for. SOLIDWORKS 2013 introduced the powerful Intersect command. It bridges the gap between solid and surface modeling. This wireless router design needs some work to make it more stylish. The housing is modeled with solid features, and we've already created a new top profile using surfaces that you see here. Section view shows what we're trying to achieve. It definitely requires both adding and removing material to the solid design. As of SOLIDWORKS 2013, we have the Intersect feature. It allows us to choose both solid and surface bodies, and SOLIDWORKS will find all the possible regions where they intersect. We can identify which regions to keep or remove. This awesome feature cuts out all the tedious commands previously required, like cut with surface, knitting, trimming, merging, etc. This required far less work than prior to this very powerful tool, making it another obvious addition to our list of best SOLIDWORKS features of the decade. Here we go to 2014. SOLIDWORKS World returned to San Diego, California. The best enhancements of 2014 include an amazingly simple way to create mates, and a new method for creating and working with sketch splines, and also a way for replacing sketch entities. In 2014, the creation of mates is even simpler and faster, with the mate icons being added to the context-sensitive toolbar. Enabling this through Tools Customize, you can activate the ability to add mates and turn on the configuration switcher as well for the context-sensitive toolbar. Adding mates like this concentric and coincident are very quick and easy, but we've also gone as far as adding additional mates such as width mate, slot mates, and profile center mates. It's a great new way to put your assemblies together with ease. Ever since SOLIDWORKS was released, splines have always been a necessary evil. Working with them is challenging and very intimidating for new users. Showing the curvature of this spline reveals some asymmetry and some extra inflection points. In SOLIDWORKS 2014, one of the best enhancements is the Style Spline command. Rather than defining spline by spline points, we are instead sketching a series of lines that control the spline, much like a control polygon. We can add relations to these segments, working towards fully defining the spline. That's something that was always very challenging with the old method of sketching splines. We can also add dimensions. And looking at the curvature of this new spline, you can see how smooth it is and get a great view of its symmetry as well. Another top enhancement is the Replace Sketch Entity. Downstream features depend on the initial spline, but using this Replace Sketch Entities command allows us to update those references to point to our newly created style spline. This gives us the ability to do some drastic edits with much less cleanup than previously required. You can see how both these commands easily made their way into the best SOLIDWORKS feature enhancements of the decade. As we jump to 2015, SOLIDWORKS World jumped to Phoenix, Arizona. The best feature enhancements of this release include great strides in increasing the functionality of patterns. The new variable pattern feature allowed us to create geometries that would take us far many more features. But our favorite from this version, it was actually the update to linear patterns. Flattening sheet metal parts has always been extremely helpful, but in SOLIDWORKS 2015, a great enhancement extended flattening to our surface bodies and faces. Here you can see the linear pattern in this part. The linear pattern feature was updated with the ability to go up to a reference geometry. This new option removes the need to use equations to control instance count or equations to solve the spacing. You can also set a margin away from reference geometry. This is great for ensuring features would not be created too close to the edge of your part. This update to the linear pattern made infusing design intent into the model much easier and more efficient. The Flatten Surface command is a great tool that was added here in SOLIDWORKS 2015. This opens the door for many things such as fabric patterns or vinyl decals. Our control knob design here needs a decal. The powerful Flatten Surface command is up for the challenge. Selecting the top face and an edge to be fixed gets us started. We can select additional geometry to control our shape. Here we'll remove some edges to cut out the region for these arrows. The flattened surface required some stretching and compression to solve. We can easily see the deformation plot to understand where that occurred. If a model edit forces this deformation to unacceptable values, we can actually edit this awesome Flatten Surface command and actually add some relief cuts. After adding these cuts, you can see the deformation is much more manageable. This makes it easy to understand why Flatten Surface command makes our list for best features of this decade. Now we hit 2016. SOLIDWORKS migrated to Dallas, Texas this year. With SOLIDWORKS 2016, our top feature enhancements include interface shortcuts, easy ways to repair busted mates, and an awesome way to adjust mate parameters to control assembly positions. First, we made it easier to dig into assemblies with breadcrumbs. By simply selecting a component and hitting the D key to bring the breadcrumbs to your cursor, you can search through assembly structures, parts, reference geometry, features, and sketches. Even mates associated with a component, feature, or faces that you've selected. And all these things are modifiable right from these breadcrumbs. Much less mouse travel is required to accomplish your daily needs. This cool assembly has 3 instances of these adjustment knobs. All mates are happily solved. Switching all of their configurations gives the knobs new faces, which causes all of them to have mate errors. Luckily, SOLIDWORKS 2016 gave us the enhancement to make this a quick fix. Editing a broken mate, we can see that the missing references from the knob. Following the traditional workflow of selecting the updated face now gave us the ability to replace all 3 of those broken mate references in a single step. The amount of effort this can save us on much larger assemblies makes it easy to understand how this enhancement made our list of best SOLIDWORKS feature enhancements of the decade. With all of the degrees of freedom and motion a model like this robot has, it can be a handful to manipulate it to the desired positions. Just like controlling an actual robot, the Mate controller makes it easy. This is a very convenient enhancement and one of the tops that was added to SOLIDWORKS 2016. All of our numerical-driven mates can be added to this Mate controller interface. In this case, I've already given the mate some descriptive names. Positions defined by the mate values are easily created and saved. You can use numerical values to define them, or unlock the values and just position the assembly by dragging components to adjust. Once all these positions are defined, using this for animations is incredibly easy. Using the positions as if they are keyframes, we can define the amount of time it takes to move between each one. Expanding on this powerful new enhancement for 2016, we can take that Mate controller animation and create a very realistic and powerful animation. It's easy to see why 2016 had some great additions that made our list of the best SOLIDWORKS feature enhancements of the decade. Now we've made it up to 2017. If you attended the event, you'd remember that SOLIDWORKS World was in Los Angeles, California that year. The top SOLIDWORKS feature enhancements of the decade from 2017 are shaded sketch contours, the wrap feature became much more powerful, and sketch offsets can be done on 3D geometry. Let's first look at the sketch contours. Here I go, trying to finish my sketch so I can extrude it. Turning on the shaded sketch contour option has lots of benefits. First, it will show you that any sketch geometries that are not closed contour. As you can see here, there's an opening at the end of the contour and the extrude command does not show a preview. Shaded sketch contour makes that clear. Once the contour is closed, you can select the whole group and move them together by clicking the shaded contour. You can also copy the whole thing by holding down Control and dragging the contour in the shaded area. While holding the Alt key, you can pre-select contours to use in a feature. If you'd like to select multiple contours, hold Control and Alt at the same time. You can select multiple contours. Once you release the selection, you can execute the extrude command or any command directly from the cursor tip, or go directly to the feature tab in the command manager. Now, let's look at the wrap and 3D sketch offsets by examining a component from the mobility existing device. We'll open this cuff. Previously, the wrap command worked on analytical geometry, like cylinders and planar faces. Now it works on almost everything, including spline-based surfaces. Here we have a sketch containing the product model that we want to emboss on the model. The wrap features 2017 enhancements let us select both of these faces, which are non-analytical geometry. Moving the sketch around, you can see how powerful this wrap feature became, making it an obvious choice for one of the best SOLIDWORKS feature enhancements of the decade. From the same assembly, let's open this finger cuff to examine another great enhancement, sketch offsets. We're going to create a cutout to reduce a bit of weight. So rolling back to where we had the surface geometry, the Offset on Surface command is an amazing tool. Offsetting edges works on multiple faces, easily flipping which face this edge is offset on. Starting the Offset on Surface command over, but this time selecting a complex face. Using the new boundary as a trimming tool, it accomplishes our goal of weight and material reduction. 2017 really did give us some great SOLIDWORKS feature enhancements. We moved to 2018, but SOLIDWORKS World returned to Los Angeles, California again. SOLIDWORKS 2018 gave us many options to choose from for our list of best SOLIDWORKS feature enhancements of the decade. We really liked the new selection tool options and loved the Smart Explode lines. First, let's look at the selection option. This is one feature that a lot of us don't know but should make our selections a little bit easier to perform. When we try to select things on the model, you typically end up selecting the face that your cursor is over, when you really just want to execute a selection. So previously, to remedy that, you'd have to start your selection in empty space, making sure you weren't on top of the model. SOLIDWORKS 2018, you can now hit the T key on your keyboard and you can place your cursor on the model and it will not select the face that your cursor is over. This allows you to make the selection that you need. In this scenario, we'd like to take out this opening along with the bolt recess with our delete face command. The selections might take some time, but if we use a combination of the lasso select and the new ability to use our T key, we can quickly make this selection we need. Creating exploded views is one of the best ways to communicate your designs in SOLIDWORKS. SOLIDWORKS 2018 gave us the Smart Explode line tool to automatically create our explode lines. SOLIDWORKS gathers all the components in our exploded view and previews each explode line. We have options for where the explode lines attach to the parts, bounding box, origin, or even drag to any other point on the parts. SOLIDWORKS also lets us apply this line location to every other identical instance, saving us a significant amount of time. As you would expect, changing the exploded view will update these explode lines, keeping everything current. If you're familiar with the old method of creating the explode line sketch, then you definitely understand why this enhancement made our list. Here we are, 2019 already. SOLIDWORKS World was in Dallas, Texas back then. Some of the best feature enhancements from 2019 include a subtle new option for trimming sketches and additional functionality for doing an interference detection. As you can see here, we have some nested contours overlapping in our sketch. We'd like to make that middle shape all one contour and not overlapping, so we're using the power trim command. The trim will delete the overlapping geometry using all the existing entities as trimming boundaries. Now let's redo that last step. New in SOLIDWORKS 2019, a checkbox was added to convert trim entities into construction geometries instead of removing them. What it's doing is splitting the entities at those intersection points and then taking what would be deleted and converting them into construction geometries. This is very convenient because we can now easily use them as reference geometries later on in our part design. A pretty great enhancement that could easily go unnoticed. Designs like this weldment are often modeled in a multi-part method instead of an assembly. To find out if we have interferences, we actually had to temporarily insert this multi-body part into an assembly. SOLIDWORKS 2019 changed this and the interference detection tool became available in part mode. This great enhancement provides important evaluation tools that can be utilized in the same file that you are working in. This functionality is very useful to verify that all members have been properly trimmed in a weldment design. Multi-body interference detection can save us lots of time and another easy choice for best SOLIDWORKS feature enhancements of the decade. We're including SOLIDWORKS 2020 as well, and you probably recall that SOLIDWORKS World became 3DEXPERIENCE World and was in Nashville, Tennessee. Some great enhancements from 2020 are envelopes and a drawing detail mode. SOLIDWORKS 2020 gave us this new envelope publisher tool. This can be very helpful when you have multiple systems and several designers. With SOLIDWORKS 2020, envelopes are no longer limited to components in the same assembly. Just select the components needed for reference and their destination assembly. Once done defining the envelope, we can open the same exact destination assembly to complete the task. Now all the plumbing design work can be done in one place. You can even mate components directly to the envelope components. makes it easy to verify that it will fit in the top-level assembly. Envelope Publisher makes it simple to work collaboratively in large assemblies and was one more easy choice for our list of best SOLIDWORKS feature enhancements of the decade. Over the years, SOLIDWORKS has added some great tools for making things faster with assemblies. Everything from large assembly mode, reworking the code to increase performance, and even large design review mode. SOLIDWORKS 2020 gave us a huge performance increase for drawings called detailing mode. This mode lets us open huge, complex drawings in seconds. The drawing is open and the views are intact, but the model does not get loaded. It is perfect for quickly opening drawings for printing, design reviews, and minor edits. It's not just for viewing. Plenty of functionality still exists in detailing mode. We can add and edit notes, move views, edit our balloons and item numbers. We can even add new dimensions in detailing mode, like these for defining the hole locations. We love enhancements that can save lots of time, and detailing mode for drawings does exactly that. Thank you for joining me today. I really enjoyed showing you our version of the best SOLIDWORKS feature enhancements of this decade.